If you've just tuned in and you're watching this video, it's because we have something in common. We all love watches. But when the time comes to let go of a watch, to move it on, to sell it, for whatever reason, there's always that factor of how much of a hit are you prepared to take. To some people, that's a very important issue. It's huge. But to others, they don't even wink an eyelid. It's not even a passing thought. But whatever the case, the size of the hit we take when selling a watch, for me it depends on three main factors. Stick around and I'll share my thoughts. There are so many people in this hobby that never part with their watches. They never sell them. They buy carefully, they consider all things and make decisions to purchase after exhausting all their options and doing all the right research. And for me, to these people I say, bravo. Well done, seriously, well done. You are the envy of all, including myself. You see, personally I can't do that. I can't do that for two reasons. And one of them is financially, and number two, emotionally. You see, when I have too many watches in my watch collection, I freak out. I really do. I stop enjoying this hobby. And when I don't have enough watches in the box, I'm out on the hunt for another one. There's a balance that I find that personally makes me happy, but each to their own. I'm not here to tell you guys how many watches you should have or shouldn't. It's not up to me. It's a personal choice. That's cool. That's why this hobby is individualized. It's fantastic. And as for financial reasons, if I want to add a new piece to my collection, 9 out of 10 times I find myself selling a watch that I don't wear that much anymore, a pre-loved watch, and use those proceeds to help fund a new watch purchase. Sometimes we do our utmost best to research and buy a timepiece which we think will satisfy a need, fill a particular void, tick the right emotional box, but after a while we either fall out of love with that piece, or maybe the watch we chose initially was a little bit too expensive for our lifestyle and we need the funds now for something else in our lives. But whatever the case guys, one time or another, many of us will face the crossroads of needing to sell a once loved watch. And the probability of breaking even, losing money, or even making a few quid depends on a few small factors. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, to some people this means nothing. They can absorb the hit. When they buy and sell, it's no big deal, life goes on. But to others who do not have a huge amount of disposable income, every penny counts. You know, if you're like me, you fall into the second category. So I'm going to share my personal findings over the years in this area, what I found, what works for me, and what continually keeps me inspired and happy in this hobby, and refreshing my collection so that I can be, for a better word, pleased and always enthusiastic. So let's touch on a few things that determine on how big a hit we have, or if we actually make a few bucks in the process. Number one is the purchase price. You see, the purchase price is key. A savvy buyer usually looks out for the best deal available when making a purchase. I fall into this category more often than not. So purchase price is the absolute key. And the best way to get a great deal is to look for one of two things. A brand new watch that's been heavily discounted, you know, like a run out sale, or something on the pre-owned market hoping to get a better deal and save hundreds and sometimes thousands off the retail price. Personally, I like to purchase many of my watches pre-owned when I get the opportunity. I think to myself, surely the secondary market can offer up better deals, you know, better than new, and 9 out of 10 times it does. If we're going to talk about getting into a watch at a great initial purchase price, then with the pre-owned market, there are a few things that I personally look for before I make a purchase. And number one, condition. Condition is everything, guys. This watch here I actually purchased pre-owned. It was mint condition, and you know, it's very easy to get a watch and not pay a lot of money for it if it's been trashed, if it's been beaten up, if it's been well used. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting a very, very good condition watch, as close to new as possible, but not paying retail price. So condition for me is key. That's number one. Number 2, box and papers. If the watch comes with box and papers and is in excellent condition, well, you're already hitting a home run. And number 3, depending on the age of the watch, serviceable history, if it's applicable. For something like this, it's pretty much brand new, it's only a couple of years old, so it doesn't need any serviceable history, but the fact that it's in pretty much mint condition, box and papers, a reduced price from new, I grabbed it. That's me. That's how I work. So if you grab a watch at a discounted rate, either new or pre-owned, then the potential hit, the amount of money that you're going to lose if you needed to one day sell it, it's going to be significantly small compared to paying full retail. And that's a given, guys. That's a standard across the board, generally speaking. So that's number 1. Number 2, if you're lucky enough to purchase a coveted model. In other words, if you happen to buy a watch that was a normal watch purchase when new, but now has become somewhat popular, and all of a sudden now this watch has become desired, then you're in the money. If you decide that you want to sell that particular watch, the watch is now being popularized through Hollywood, through media, through social media, only because of its perceived value through social media. But we also see similar trends in micro brands. There's certain watches that they're not only holding their value when it comes to moving them on, but some of them are even doubling and tripling their value, and in a very, very short period of time. And this is due to short supply and increased demand. Really simple math. In major brands with more affordable stuff, we even see this same pattern happening with watches that are developing a cult-like status. For example, Seiko, with their range of watches, the Monster series comes to mind straight away. Watches that you purchased brand new several years ago for $300-400, today these watches are fetching double or even triple the price. And I tell you what, they're not coming down anytime soon. These have become coveted, desired watches. So the hit that you're going to take from a coveted or desired watch, it's basically, instead of becoming a hit, it's become a profit, and a very healthy one at that. So if you happen to be lucky enough to buy a coveted watch, a watch that's desirable, or it's become desirable after you've purchased it, you're not going to take a hit, you're going to make some money on it. And lastly, guys, number 3, unpopular watches. And when I say unpopular watches, I buy heaps of them. These are watches that might come from a popular, respected brand, or they might not be the desired, sought-after model. These watches usually take the biggest hit, especially when purchased new. And the harsh reality, guys, is really simple. You bought a watch that you liked, that's cool, that's fantastic, that's exactly what we should be doing, but it wasn't a popular watch from a popular brand. So it might be an unpopular Seiko, an unpopular Tudor, an unpopular Rolex. It's in every brand, an unpopular Omega, yeah? But the harsh reality is when it comes time to selling it, then that old saying comes true. When you buy a brand new car, as soon as you drive out of the dealership, it's basically like opening up the car window and seeing the money fly out the street. But if you want to reduce that potential hit with these unpopular watches, well, then you do what I do, look for them on a pre-owned market. Like I said, good condition, excellent condition, try to save a few bucks there, here, so that at least if you find that maybe in 2-3 years you're really not in love with that watch anymore, it happens, you move it on. But the bottom line is this: if you're buying a watch with the intent to make money, best of luck to you. Seriously, good luck, guys. There's so many better ways to make money. And unless you know the right watch to buy at the right price, well, it's pretty much a gamble. Everything's pretty much a gamble. I mean, there's certain safe bets. We know Rolex, Patek, AP, there's certain models, of course, from these brands, and everything else that we buy from every other brand, it's pretty much a gamble. It really is. There's certain Omega models that keep their value. There's certain Seiko models. You've got to land on the right model and do your homework. My personal philosophy is very simple. I'm not into watches to make money. I'm not a dealer, I'm not a flipper. I just love this hobby. Really simple. And I want to get as many watches as possible go through my hands for me to use and enjoy. But I know that I can't keep them all. So the only advice that I give people, buy a watch because you love it. Buy something that you want. Really, really simple. That's the advice that I follow. Buy a watch that you can't live without it. It's calling your name. It's appearing in your dreams. That's a watch for you. If you do buy that particular watch and you fall out of love with that watch and decide to move it on and sell it, well, so be it. It happens. No one can promise you that you won't take a hit on a watch, or even break even, or even make a few dollars. It's a gamble, but that's okay. If you didn't purchase the watch on false pretenses, you won't be disappointed whatever the outcome. The intent wasn't to make money, for me anyway. The intent was to buy a watch you desired for yourself, for your great pleasure. It's really simple. It's really simple. This is a hobby. It always has been. There's ways of making money. I can show you videos. I'm not into that. I'm not personally. But whatever the case, guys, if you fall out of love with certain watch pieces, I call it a failed relationship. You gave it a go. Maybe there was a clash of personalities somewhere along the line, or you grew older, you grew more mature, and the watch just couldn't keep up with your personality. Whatever, it happens. It happens. But whatever the case, guys, move it on, recoup whatever the sale dictates, and reinsert those funds into a new venture. Happy days. I encourage you, go out, enjoy this hobby. Let me know your thoughts, how you guys operate, whether you collect and the boxes fill up, that's fine. Whether you have 5 or 6 or 10, again, that's fine. Everyone's individual, and for me, this is how I operate. I've been doing it for years. I enjoy the hobby, and I always like to get fresh things in. Sometimes I might go with certain watches for years, and other times, in a year I might change them out twice. It happens. It is what it is. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you all in the next video.